We're going to try and get the clearest picture and the widest view, another perspective on these issues coming up. How a U.S. Army captain gave his insider view of the fighting in Iraq on his blog, and then he kept on blogging after he was injured, after he came home to the U.S. for treatment. Internet reporter Jackie Schechner is back on that story online. Coming up, stay with us. CNN is on the story online. Teams of CNN reporters bring you the news from Iraq, but some members of the U.S. military deliver their own view of events through personal weblogs or blogs. Well, our internet reporter Jackie Schechner is on that story. Jackie, take it away.
Ali, there is no better way to get the real story out of Iraq than to get it from somebody who's there themselves. We are so lucky in more ways than one to have Captain Charles Ziegenfuss here with us today. He started his blog in May from Iraq. He was injured by an IED in June, and while he was recuperating, his wife kept up his blog. He started blogging again recently through voice-activated software, and we are so incredibly lucky that he is healing and with us today. Chuck, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Your very first post, you said that you were blogging because it was easier than yelling at the news. What is it about the news coverage out of Iraq that makes you so angry?
Well, at the time I was in Iraq, and what was really irritating about the news was watching snippets, the 30-second soundbite of things that just had so little importance in the real world.
What's the perspective that people can get online through a military blogger that they're not getting on the news?
Well, I think the two biggest things is that they're not seeing the good news. The Americans that are in Iraq helping to train the Iraqi soldiers, the Iraqi soldiers that are conducting missions almost and in some cases completely autonomously, the Iraqi police force that is capturing criminals and capturing terrorists, and the people that come out and embrace you. Even if you're there to search their home, they open up their doors and they offer you tea to drink while you're about to search through their house when you're looking for terrorists. They understand what we're doing there.
Nick, what do you get out of this?
Well, the best help we get in Iraq at the moment on getting around and getting out to tell the story is from the military. And Chuck, I got to say, we're really grateful for all of that, because we couldn't do it. During the referendum in October last year, it was a group of infantry guys that took us out of the polling station, dropped us off. We spent the whole day at the polling station covering the elections. They picked us up at the end of the day. We couldn't do that ourselves. It's just not safe for us to do it. So without the military, we couldn't get around the country. So I'm really grateful for all you're doing in your job and what you've been doing to help us.
Yeah, actually, I want to ask the captain a question about embedding. Well, I want to know what he thinks of the idea of embedded journalists. Does he think it's a good idea or bad idea? And more importantly, I want to ask him if he thinks it will be a good idea for the U.S. military to solicit more embedded reporters from Arab television networks.
I think it's a great idea to solicit embedders from the Arab networks and get the Arab face on the things that we're doing. Another thing, as far as any embedded reporter goes, I think it's a terrific idea, but the news agency has to make the commitment to put that reporter with the unit either from the day they arrive in country until the day they leave the unit, or from, even better, 6 months prior to that unit deploying, so that that unit trains with the reporter. They get to know each other and they become more comfortable. I think you'd find a lot better stories. You'd find soldiers that weren't afraid to talk to media personnel and people just that are more comfortable in front of the camera, and they wouldn't be afraid of what their chain of command is going to think they should or shouldn't say or anything like that. They'll be used to talking to reporters. So I think that a reporter being embedded with a unit is great, but if you're only going to embed for 72 hours, then it's just a long weekend for both of us.
Let's take a question from our audience here. Your name and where are you from?
My name is Ashley Amadon. I'm from Dale City, Virginia. My question to you, sir, is that with the advent of blogging by active members of the military, how has this changed the way that war is perceived and or fought? Has it changed?
If it changes the way war is perceived, then I suppose that's a good thing. I think it's too early to tell.
Another question from the audience. Your name and where you're from?
My name is Ashley and I'm from Colorado. And my question is, what has been the reaction of the Pentagon, if any, to your blog?
I've actually talked to several people at the Pentagon that have called me or emailed me at different times. Most of them like it. None have said what I can or can't say. None have commented on anything other than I had actually linked to a few sites that gave descriptions and capabilities of weapons, and it wasn't even a direct order from the Pentagon or anything like that. It was somebody that read my blog, thought it was funny, and gave me some advice that it's better to not link to those sites, because if anybody was reading from the other side, then it would give them a better understanding of what our capabilities were. And so I took that information down.
Chuck, I want to personally thank you for being here today, and I think on behalf of everybody, we want to say thank you for your service, and we're very, very grateful that you're here and that you're healing and that you're healthy. So thank you very much. Allie, we'll send it back to you.
Chuck, thank you. Jackie, thank you. And thanks also to our senior editor for Arab Affairs, Octavia Nasser.